Series Championship continues through June 5th on ABC, ESPN, and the ESPN app, presented by Capital One.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
There are very few players in the history of the NBA that we would say skipped steps when it comes to contending and winning a championship. Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. That's where we're at. And all of those guys are top 10 players all time. That's where this thing feels like it's trending with Wemby.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
The Stanley Cup Final on ABC is more than a quest for the cup. It's 134 years of putting it all on the line and the heaviest 35 pounds ever lifted. It's broken curses and broken hearts. But for those chasing it, it's everything.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It is Friday, May the 22nd, 2026. Steve Moulton here with your update. Your winners in SEC baseball include Georgia and Florida. Coming up today, you'll be able to hear number 2 seed Texas against 7 seed Arkansas, and 6 seed Auburn takes on 3 seed Texas A&M. In Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves took 3 out of 4 in Miami. Braves lead in the NL East is now 9.5 games as they welcome in the Nationals this weekend. The Trash Pandas were rained out last night. They'll take on Chattanooga today in a doubleheader beginning at 4:20. And softball super regionals begin today in Tuscaloosa. Alabama LSU slated for a 6 o'clock first pitch. And finally, in the world of NASCAR, 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch passes away at the age of 41. Busch just won a truck race event last Friday in Dover.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Golf Fest, Huntsville's newest, coolest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue where you bring your own gear. Use the Golf Fest to play over 2,000 courses from around the world, including that one in Georgia that kicks off the majors. Plus, the Golf Fest is a great place to dial in your game or have an office event or private party. Their third location in the Valley is coming to Hughes Road in Madison soon. Visit thegolfist.com for more info. That's GOLFFICE, thegolfist.com.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. Oh, that music can mean only one thing. Oh, yeah. That is Football Friday in the doghouse. Always Football Friday in the doghouse. Doesn't matter. Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, any day weekend. It's Football Friday in the doghouse. So glad that you have joined us for today's show. I am Thom Abraham, and Football Friday means football music in the show throughout the show. And, of course, we'll always have some football topics in there, and we do today as well. But, of course, the stunning news of Kyle Busch's passing have rocked the sports world yesterday, especially race fans. And we're going to have to deal with that the best we can. And I've always been a NASCAR fan, so I feel like I can speak with some level of competence on this subject. But I can in no way explain what happened that caused his death.
because at this point, it's all such a mystery. I mean, as of this particular moment, all we have learned is that he became unresponsive, basically passed out while working on the simulator at the Chevrolet place Chevrolet racing place in Concord, North Carolina. He was on the simulator and he became unresponsive. It just conked out. And everybody wants to draw a line back to Watkins Glen when in the last few laps he said, "Can you get the doctor from Hendrick? I'm going to need a shot when I get in." We don't know if it had anything to do with that. You watch him in his post-race comments and everything. He seems fine on Friday. They did say that he was dealing with a cough. And the next thing we know, he's in the hospital. Yesterday morning, we had reported that with a quote-unquote serious illness. A serious illness means, what, a bad sinus infection? And he was going to miss the weekend's races. And he's dead. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Really, 41 years old. And look, I will not pretend to all of a sudden be a Kyle Busch fan. I'm not, because I'm not. I never have been. Anybody that's listened to the show for more than a week knows that. But I absolutely respect the talent. I mean, as a wheelman, the guy was unbelievable. NASCAR's always had its heroes and its villains. And Kyle Busch was a guy that we all loved to hate, unless you were a Kyle Busch guy. If he was your guy, you loved to love him. Look, I went through this in the 80s with Dale Earnhardt. And we're going to get to questions and so on and some of the big differences in their careers. But there was a time, believe it or not, I mean, Dale Earnhardt was not always this beloved personality where everybody lined up to shake his hand when he, finally won the Daytona 500 after 19 tries. He was hated in the 80s. I mean, they hated it. They called him Ironhead. Before he was the Intimidator, they called him Ironhead. And if you were a fan of anybody else on the track, you hated the guy. Everybody in the garage hated him. But there were significant differences. And ironically, Kyle Busch, for all of his accolades, 21 shots at the Daytona 500, never won the Daytona 500. Now, if he had won the Daytona 500 this year, next year, to next year, were they all going to line up on pit road and shake his hand? Maybe. He was highly respected for his abilities. And it's just kind of weird looking at the comments from guys that battled with him. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had big issues with Kyle Busch. Some of these other guys, Brad Keselowski and some of these, they had big issues with him on the track. But the general theme is that they had great respect for him. And I'm in that category as well. So hour number one is wide open for your thoughts on that or anything else that's going on in the sports world, because there is a lot of things going on in the sports world. Then at the top of the 11, my good friend Tim Packman will join us to discuss the life and times of Kyle Busch. Now, Tim and I hosted a show in our youth, and when our youth, I mean in our 30s. Tim and I hosted a show together called Race Night many, many moons ago. I'm going to say 25 years ago. Oh, my gosh. It's this summer. This September will mark 29 years for me on the radio. So, 25 years ago anyway. Tim Packman and I hosted Race Night. He went on to work for Richard Childress Racing. He worked for DEI, Dale Earnhardt Enterprises. He worked for NASCAR. He co-wrote Bobby Ellison's memoir and has written a couple of racing children's books, Funny Dan, the Race Car Man, and PD, the Pace Car. So Tim is a great historian when it comes to racing, and we'll catch up with him. And after Tim, Beau Estes will be back. He is our NBA guy, and we'll talk about the NBA Final Four with him, but we'll also touch on Kyle Busch with him as well. Before Beau Estes was my NBA guy, he was my NASCAR guy. In fact, in my phone, whenever I hit Beau Estes' info, it still comes up NASCAR guy. Because he worked back when TNT had the races the first time. Beau worked in studio for TNT covering NASCAR. So phone lines are open now. If you want to jump on board, you can do it. Jump in and contribute at 256-576-4977. That number is good wherever and however you consume the show. We have a text window open as well. We'll read and react to those on the air. 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. It's amazing how much information I get there about the show or about topics that we're talking about. Because a lot of times I'll throw something out there like I did right now about the fact that we really don't know anything about, at this point in time, anything about the cause of death for Kyle Busch. And then you guys will find out some information and you'll hit me with it. And that's where I'll learn about it during the show. I'll be totally honest with you. Get tremendous insight from you guys often. And then often it's just a lot of, nothingness. A lot of BS. We get some of that too. But that's okay. Text window is 732-982-7469. Finally, you can watch the show as well on WZZN TV and the YouTube and the Facebook, the X. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show, and you can find it there. And yes, that background is old school. I believe that's Bobby Ellison's car, to be honest with you. That's old school Daytona behind me. I think it's the 1979 Daytona 500. Figured out it is a huge look. It's a huge race weekend. Huge race weekend. I was out to Jordan Bianchi, our NASCAR guy, our motorsports guy from The Athletic, but obviously he is totally covered up with this story right now. I would imagine he's in some sort of transport as well. But we get the Indy 500 Sunday early. I have to put the recorder on for that thing because that starts around 11 o'clock or so. And then from there, we get the Coke 600 at night. I gave you the latest that I know about Kyle Busch's death. I suppose that there'll be some kind of, there's always rumor and things like that. I try not to deal in those types of things. But if it's legit, if it's something that makes some sort of sense, then, we'll run with it. But we'll identify it as such. But I don't know anything more than what I told you. That he passed out in the simulator and was taken immediately to the hospital. The most heartbreaking thing is the video that I saw about his young son who races those quarter midget cars. I don't know if you guys saw that on X. I mean, it showed a different side of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, the jerk, was replaced by Kyle Busch, the father. Kyle Busch, the loving, father helping his son in his race career. I've come to believe to a certain extent that Kyle Busch, the jerk, was a role that he relished playing, that he really wasn't that guy. That I don't know if he really was. I mean, when he was younger, he may have been, but I think he relished being in that role. He sounded different recently. I don't know if the whole experience with Childress had humbled him some by the fact that, they weren't winning on the cup level. But his comment after winning the truck race on Friday, a week ago today at Dover, was prophetic and chilling.
Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is,
Yeah. Wow. You never know when the last one is. I watched that entire interview, and he seemed fine. But who knows? And you can speculate about things like carbon monoxide. We know one of the things that Randall Jr. out of the cars, he kept getting headaches, and he was having a hard time with the carbon monoxide that these guys sometimes, inhale, and often they can deal with it. But, other times other guys react differently to it. They're not out there wearing any kind of masks, oxygen masks or anything like that. And they're on a track with 40 other cars going around and around and around with, a lot of carbon monoxide. So you wonder about stuff like that and what that impact could have. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Tuesday, the SEC spring meetings will begin in Destin, and there's sure to be plenty of discussion regarding the playoffs coming out of that. Now, I have my own simple thought that I think would stand the test of time as a playoff, since everyone is trying to make this more like the NFL, and now we're paying the kids and everything else. It's a very simple prospect that I've thrown out there, but everyone is posturing to get as many of their teams from their conference in the playoff. And really, if it's a playoff, that's really not how things work. If it's a playoff, the way things work is that you play off. And if your conference happens to be right now better than another conference, so be it. I mean, when the AFC is better than the NFC, or when the NFC is better than the AFC, how many times have you heard us say over the years for the AFC Championship game or the NFC Championship game, this feels like this is the Super Bowl, this is the championship? Well, we don't all of a sudden put two teams from the AFC or two teams from the NFC in the Super Bowl just because they might be better than the representative of the other team. We don't know that. I don't know that the Buffalo Bills were the second best team in football 4 straight years. They were the first year when they lost to the Giants. But who knows? Maybe those Cowboys 49ers NFC Championship games were the real Super Bowl. And it was just you know what I mean? So, maybe there should be a scenario where the playoffs begin with a playoff within the conference. Now, I think the conference has to be adjusted. I'll get to that one of these days. To me, it seems, it might seem overly simplistic, but, my scenario of a 16-team playoff, which is the max that I would go, has 4 conferences, and each of those 4 conferences have a Final Four within them. First, win your conference. And you have a conference playoff. You have 4 teams within the conference that boil down to a conference championship game. You won the conference, and now you go on to the Final Four. There's your 16-team playoff. It seems simple, but it seems like it makes sense. Oh, yeah, but some years the 2 best teams are in the Big Ten, or the 2 best teams are in the SEC. Okay. Win your conference. We're trying to figure out how to get Alabama and Georgia in the national championship game, or Michigan and Ohio State. Well, Michigan's a bad example because they're probably not very good anymore, but Ohio State and I don't know, whatever. Do we want that? Do we want Alabama and Auburn to play back-to-back weeks? Do we want Michigan and Ohio State to play back-to-back weeks? No. So, anyway, there's a scenario there. I'll get into it a little bit later on. And it was a night of blowouts in the NBA and NHL playoffs last night. The Knicks blew out Cleveland with a late surge again. And, Cleveland would be fine if the game was a college game. If it was a 40-minute game, they might be all right. So it's the last 8 minutes that kills them. And the Canadiens went into Raleigh and hammered the Canes. Carolina was 8-0 so far in the playoffs. They swept their first 2 series. They've been hanging around for like 2 weeks, waiting for this series to start. And here comes the Canadiens, who went 7 in both their series. So the Canadiens went 7 games and overtime in their 2 series, while the Canes swept their 2 series. And the team that's played 14 games plus, because again, they went into OT both times in game 7. The team that's played 14 plus games walked into Raleigh last night in 6-2 over the Canes. My heritage as a hockey guy, I'm trying to get into this Final Four. I hate these 4 teams. I'm having a hard time getting into it, and I'm trying to think, okay, what's best? Out of all of it, I'd like to see the Southern team in there. It'd be nice to see Mayberry get in there for the sake of the Southern team. But that's not what's best for the NHL. That's not what's best for ABC and the TV ratings. Probably best to have the Canadiens. The Canadiens are the Yankees. Except for they don't strike out every single time. that's another conversation for another time. All right, back at Mission Control. Playing the platters that matter, the stacks of wax, answer the phone, living large and in charge on a Friday. Two guys that are both big race fans. One of them got it from his daddy. I think they both got it from their daddy. But one of them has been to races all over the country. And that's our boy Hollywood Hogan. I want to start with him. And because he, not only is he a big NASCAR fan, he's a big Kyle Busch fan. And if you remember, it was about a month ago where I tried to throw him out of the studio for wearing a Kyle Busch T-shirt in studio. And we had some good-natured fun with that. So we start with Hollywood Hogan. And Brody, I got to just, I can't even imagine, Brody, what your emotions were as you were going through this, because you, at your young age, you haven't been through this. You weren't around for Davey Ellison and Dale Earnhardt and Neil Bonnet and things like that, and things that happened on the track and so on. So just take me through the timeline for you, a young Kyle Busch fan.
So it's been very hard to process. Like you said, there's not anything for me to compare this to. Kyle Busch is like the reason I am as invested in NASCAR now as I am. In 2022, his last year with Toyota, that was like the year that I got into NASCAR seriously. Mm-hmm. More than just watching an occasional race here and there or watching truck races, like fully invested. And obviously in 2023, he made the switch to Chevy. And I liked Chevy at the time, so that was a little easier to get on board with, not seeing him in a Toyota. But it's heartbreaking because of the impact he had, seeing that he's a lot more than just a driver. He was a family man, and he played a big part in a lot of different drivers' lives. About a third of the Cup Series field, I believe, has drove for him at some time in trucks to get their start. So, yeah, it's a big loss.
And overall, when you look at all of the series, he won more races than anybody. Now, I don't use that. You and I had a good debate about Mount Rushmore, and I'll do this a little bit with Tim Packman coming up, talking about where does he fit in history. And it's apples and oranges. It's kind of like when you talk about Richard Petty and his 200 wins, which are double anybody else. 102 wins. David Pearson is second. But back in those days, those guys ran 47 races a year. It's it's the pre-modern era, if you will. Now they run 36. They ran 47. They would run 2 or 3 times in a week sometimes. And, Petty only had a certain number of guys to beat. The flip side of that is like Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, even Jimmy Johnson. They didn't even have a truck series then. You know what I mean? It came about during like Jimmy Johnson's run and stuff. But Dale Earnhardt, he hardly ever ran, what was then the I don't know what it was called, the nation. It was the Grand National Series, actually. It started out as the Grand National Series. And then, I don't know, the Nationwide, the Xfinity, whatever you want to call the JV race. Dale Earnhardt didn't run a lot of that back in the day. So, and Kyle Busch, has. He's run and won a ton of that kind of stuff. I mean, he would, if there was a car to be raced, he would race. But you're right about him being a family man. Have you seen the video that was posted of him and his son, walking around and getting ready to race a quarter midget race and all that kind of stuff? Have you seen that video?
I don't believe I've seen the specific one you're referring to, but I did used to watch the YouTube videos that they would put out together.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. The music that is playing on it, it's on an X, and it was heartbreaking, and to see the way he was interacting with his kid and everything else. And I didn't know this. I don't know, maybe you didn't know this. I don't know if you knew this or not, but apparently at some particular point in time, Kyle Busch was actually a WWE champion. He was the WWE 24/7 champion for some short period of time, and it was some sort of championship that was open to anybody, male or female, and it was called the WWE 24/7 Championship, and Kyle Busch was the champion. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know it either. I didn't know that either. Of course, he was the NASCAR Rookie of the Year. He won the ESPY Award for, best driver and things like that. Side by each with you in studio is Grasshopper. Now, Grasshopper is a big fan of NASCAR as well. He gets that from his daddy, and I would imagine. I mean, I don't think he ever liked Kyle Busch either, because he gets that from his daddy too, right? I mean, for the most part, John, I don't know that you ever really cared for Kyle Busch.
Yeah, no, that's about right. I never really liked him, and obviously it was an iconic car. Seeing him drive around in the M&Ms 18, and he was always getting in those candy cars, so it was always an eye-catching vehicle. But the way that he talked to media, all that stuff. When I was younger, I just wasn't too big of a fan of. But whenever I got back into it, whenever I was watching it with my girlfriend and all of that stuff at the time. There was a point because of fantasy where I had to bring him on my team, and at that time, I was thinking about it. I was like, he's not that bad. And we watched a lot of the old highlights of him. The things that he said, to the media, and all those different instances that are highlights throughout all of NASCAR.
Well, and you're old enough to remember Kurt Busch. Now, Kurt Busch was a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the original, and then Kyle took it to another level. But Kurt Busch, when he first came on, he was a real pain in the butt, and he kept getting dumped. I mean, he just came in thinking he was, hot stuff, and they just kept wrecking him like crazy.
Yeah.
And then he seemed like mild-mannered when Kyle came around.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned the M&M's car and the candy cars, the Mars deals that he had with the, they would sometimes feature other, candies other than M&M's. That was one of the great ironies to me of Kyle Busch's career, because you would think that M&M's, I mean, this is something that was geared towards kids, and this is, kids and candy and everything else. And it was really kind of a dichotomy between his sponsorship and who he was and how he was. And the things that he would say. And back in the day when you would listen to the radio and you would hear him, and he was, I mean, you just talk about a guy that could cuss.
Yeah.
I mean, he cuss up a storm, and he didn't like anybody, and he was arrogant and everything. And you would be like, why does M&M's want to be related to this guy? M&M's is like, it's one of the happiest things in the whole world is an M&M.
Yeah.
I mean, a peanut M&M in my particular case. I even like the peanut butter M&M. But it would be like, why was, there are certain sponsorships. Dale Earnhardt is the man in black driving that, Good Ranch car. That made sense to me. Richard Petty in the STP car. That made sense to me. Even Dale Jr. running the Budweiser car. And before that, Michael Waltrip running the Budweiser car, and Neil Bonnet. I mean, these were Southern. These are dudes. They should be running the Budweiser car. You know what I mean? Made sense. And then Kyle Busch is in a candy car. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, he won races, and he was all over the media. So I mean, that's one way to sponsor your brand. But I do want to ask this, because after this is all said and done, think about it. Whenever it comes down to the, I would say, top 3 numbers in NASCAR, what would you say would be that top 3 now?
You mean iconic numbers?
Of car
numbers?
Yeah.
You're talking about
especially
like 43?
in the last 20, 25 years.
Well, 43 and 3.
Yeah. What's that third one, though?
I'd say, to be honest with you, for me, in my lifetime, which extends back to basically the beginning of this whole thing, and when it took off certainly in the 70s, I'll be honest with you, to me it's 24 or the 9. It's either, I would go 43-3, 24. The 48 and the 9 are in a different category.
Yeah.
The 48 and 9 are in there as well. The funny thing is as good as Darrell Waltrip was, he was always the 88 at the beginning. You think of Darrell Waltrip. What do you think? If I say Darrell Waltrip, what number pops into your head? You might say 17. Car.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like a 50 number, honestly.
No. Sorry, so that's actually, that's before your time. But a lot of people, when you say Darrell Waltrip, you say 88 because he ran the Gatorade 88 car. the Mountain Dew 88 car. Well, then Darrell Waltrip, when I really became a fan of Junior Johnson in the Budweiser cars, they ran the 11 and the 12. Waltrip was in the 11, and Neil Bonnet was in the 12. The 22, Bobby Allison, 22. It jumps into your 22, Bobby Allison. That's a great question, though. I like this. I like where you're going with this.
You could put 18 somewhere in there because Bobby Labonte, and then a lot of people in the last 2 decades grew up with 18. I would say more than 2 decades, but still in the last.
You say Bobby Labonte. Am I lying? Didn't Dale Jarrett run the 18 and win the Daytona 500 in the 18? You're saying Bobby Labonte. I'm thinking Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, I believe he did.
Am I making that up?
Yeah,
didn't Dale Jarrett Jr. win the – or Dale Jarrett? Not Dale Jarrett Jr., but Dale Jarrett. I know he ran the 88, too. He ran the 88 UPS.
Yeah, that's machine. The number I know, like Dale Jarrett with. But, yeah, back in the early 90s.
Didn't he run the 18? Wasn't he driving the 18 when he won the
yes
Daytona 500? So,
1993.
So the 18 is an iconic number that has been retired since Kyle Busch. Now, not retired by NASCAR, because NASCAR doesn't retire numbers. If they did, there wouldn't be a 43 or a 3 out there. But the owner of the 18 is Joe Gibbs. And when Kyle left, they shut down the 18, and they rebranded that team to 54 for Ty Gibbs, the grandson of Joe Gibbs. And so right now, nobody's running the 18, and who knows if and when somebody will ever run the 18. But, yeah, it's in that realm. All right, that's a long open. Let's get a break. We'll come back. We'll start with the calls. Paulie and the Cape will be up first. When we return, you want to jump in behind him, 256-576-4977. This is a dichotomy. This is, for a lot of people, this is a weird thing, Kyle Busch. Nobody wants to see a guy die at 41 years old. My gosh, I got 3 kids that are older than that. All right, 2 kids that are older. Nobody wants to see that. We don't see a guy lose his life. But it's Kyle Busch, and, who liked Kyle Busch? You either loved him or you hated him, And but that's probably a good thing. You got to have villains. You got to have heroes and villains. Busch was the villain. I don't know who that next villain will be. I don't know if it's going to be Carson Hocevar. I don't know who is a villain. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem with NASCAR now. Everybody's a nice guy. Everybody's some clean-cut kid that hasn't shaved yet, and, we don't know. We'll get a break. We'll come back. Your phone calls are next. 256-576-4977. It's the Thom Abraham Show.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
This summer, we make HVAC history as Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation celebrates our country's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! In honor of crossing the Delaware River and kicking Cornwallis out of Yorktown, Sensagreen now offers $1,776 off new HVAC systems. Give me liberty and a new HVAC smart system this summer at Sensagreen with Brian. Whatever it takes, just like our founding fathers. USA! USA! USA!
Alabama license number 12705/52808.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. More of the same this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, some of which could be on the stronger end of the spectrum, but the overall threat for severe weather is going to be incredibly low. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the mid and upper 70s, drop into the upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Rinse and repeat for your Saturday. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s, lower 80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water LLC. Look, those spring and summer rains are going to hit at some point, and when they do, you need Ryan at All About Water to help you deal with keeping it away from your foundation or doing damage on your property. Now, his background is in fluid dynamics, and that assures you that they can handle any job, including building and maintaining a pond or any other sort of water feature. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Here come the mighty Denver Broncos. We feel the thunder from inside. Because the spirit of the West will always be the best. Let's shout with all our pride. Go Broncos! Hail to the mighty Denver.
And welcome back. Thom Abraham Show. Glad that you are with us. SEC baseball tournament will pick up again a little bit later on. Today, we have Arkansas and Texas playing in the first game. 3 o'clock is when it is scheduled right now, unless there's been a change in that I don't know about, which is possible. And that'll be followed by Auburn and Texas A&M. Florida whacking Alabama, knocking them out of the tournament yesterday. I guess there's a reason why Florida has better odds to win it all than did Alabama, even though Alabama was the 4 seed in the tournament. Florida took them out behind the woodshed in that one and got the victory there. Georgia took care of Mississippi State. So tomorrow in the first game, Florida and Georgia will get together. Anytime Florida and Georgia get together, it's fun. I mean, it's because it's just Florida and Georgia. I mean, it's just good stuff. All right, phone lines are open if you want to get in. 256-5764, 97.7. Paulie in the Cape is up first. Paulie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Pretty good, Tom. It's sad that
Kyle Busch died. As far as iconic numbers, you forgot to add number 21, David Pearson. In my opinion, Richard Petty's thorn in his side, David Pearson. So
yeah, Wood Brothers
also,
number 21. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, you'd have to be of a certain age to think of the 21 car. The car still looks the same, which is really cool. I wish that Wood Brothers car, I wish the Wood Brothers could win more, with that car. It's an iconic looking car. There's no doubt about it. They had the kid that won the Daytona 500 a few years ago. But he had some sort of health issues as well. I don't think he runs anymore. What was the kid's name? Remember the one that Daytona?
Burton?
No, not Harrison Burton. Before him, it was a kid. Was it Harrison Burton? No, he won the Daytona 500 in that car. Huh?
Yep, Burton won at Daytona, but Josh Berry's in the car now, and he's won it. I believe it was Richmond since.
No, there's somebody else. I don't think it's Harrison Burton. The Harrison Burton is Jeff Burton's kid, or one of the Burtons, Ward Burton's kid, or something like that. No.
Are you talking about Matt DiBenedetto?
No. Keep going. The 21 car.
Ryan Blaney drove that car back in 2017.
No, the kid.
JoJo Bubba Jr.
No, not JoJo Bubba Jr. Gosh, oh man, it's at the tip of my tongue. The kid won the Daytona 500 in that car. The Wood Brothers hadn't won in forever. Everybody went nuts, and then the kid had some sort of a blood disorder or something. He couldn't run anymore. Oh gosh. All right. Anyway, go ahead. I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
There was this quick debate. They said Pizza Hut is the best pizza in the country. Granted, as far as a restaurant style and feeding a family and having good product and a good place to go on a Friday or Saturday because your wife
Trevor Bain
like cooking.
Trevor Bain, guys, 2011. Trevor Bain. Remember just a few minutes ago, Trevor Bain. It was freaking 15 years ago. Trevor Bain. He won that thing and then couldn't run anymore. Couldn't race, at some particular point in time. All right, so go ahead. So who said Pizza Hut has the best pizza? Pizza Hut is the best.
They just had this poll, this national poll that, they voted the best pizza by Pizza Hut. But let's get down to reality. If someone gave you $1 million to open up a pizza place and they said, what sign are you going to put on that building? Before they give you the $1 million, are you going to call it Decatur style pizza? Are you going to call it Alabama style pizza? No. You're going to call it New York style pizza. That's where they'll come through the door.
Yeah, but the New York style pizza is not a. But New York style pizza is not a brand name.
But they're trying to brainwash. Oh man, the best pizza ever is from Pizza Hut. No, it's always going to be New York style pizza. End of story.
Well, some people in the Midwest will tell you Chicago style pizza, the stuffed pizza, the thick pizza.
Hold on, I want to get to that. The human being species will always eat a bread, and of course, they are attracted to more bread on a pizza. Oh joy! Let's eat pizza that's thicker crust, and now it's better than New York style pizza.
Yeah, but New York don't they have New York style pizza at Domino's? They got New York style pizza at Pizza Hut. Where do you like it?
Of course.
What's the name of a joint?
But they say what?
What's the name of a place? Like, to me, the best New York style pizza, I mean, it's just a style. It's not a place. To me, the best New York style pizza around for me is a place called Paisan's, which is on the square in Winchester where I live. I can walk to it. I'm hoping, I'm trying to talk everybody into going to lunch there today. Paisan's has the best New York style pizza, in terms of that, if you like New York style pizza.
But the point I'm making is that they called it Sicilian style pizza if you want to eat more bread.
Yes,
and then
Sicilian is the thick pizza.
Yeah, well, no one called it was Sicilian style pizza, but now Chicago. Oh no, it's Chicago style pizza because it's thicker bread. But
Chicago is different than Sicilian. Sicilian is thick pizza. Chicago style pizza is like a stuffed pizza. Chicago style, they have the crust on top.
It's still a thicker crust.
Oh yeah, it's a thicker crust, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing too. In all my years growing up in New York, in the city, out of Long Island, I never once had to tell the guy when I ordered a pizza, can you make it well done? I've never had to say that. But when I moved out of New York, California, Vegas, Arizona, Greenville, South Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Vegas, Tucson, Arizona, here in Florida, I always had to say, hey, man, can you make it well done? Because the ovens apparently are not the same like the ovens in New York. It cooks the crust. It cooks the bread. They don't do it here. People don't understand. You got to cook the damn thing. If you don't cook the bread and it's crispy and it's crunchy and you can fold it, that's the key.
Yeah, but can you fold it? Can you fold it if it's crunchy? You know what I mean? I don't know that you can fold it if it's too crunchy. It's hard to fold. I mean, you got
Then you burnt it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like getting two pieces of New York style pizza and put them on top of each other, and then it becomes a calzone or it becomes a Chicago style. Why are we talking about pizza? It must be Memorial Day weekend. It must be because now we're talking about pizza.
I'm just talking about this big thing. It's like, Pizza Hut is the best cut
no,
pizza
not Pizza
in the
Hut.
country. It's like, sorry.
No.
But anyways, why are the Yankees losing? Because
they need to fire the manager because their approach sucks. They swing at terrible pitches. Aaron Judge is striking out at an alarming rate. I mean, I cannot believe how much he struck out 7 straight at bats at one point in time and then hit a couple of weak grounders. They're fielding. The pitchers don't cover first. They run into each other out in the field. Everything points to fire the manager. Everything. And they let Don Mattingly take over the Phillies, and now they're winning instead of Don Mattingly being a manager of the Yankees.
Thank you, Tom, for making Memorial Day weekend great. Thank you, Tom.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Robert's Pizza is amazing.
Yeah, but Robert's isn't a national brand. What's Robert's Pizza? I never even heard of them.
Robert's Pizza is in Chicago, but it is not Chicago-style pizza. It's closer to New York style.
So do you know do you guys know what New York-style pizza is when I say New York-style pizza? You know what New York-style pizza is?
It's pretty thin crust, right?
It's thin crust and big. It's foldable pizza, right, John? You've been to Paisans, John, and so Paisans is New York style pizza. That's a foldable pizza, and the funny thing is, when you fold it, it becomes more like thick. It becomes more like Sicilian pizza.
Yeah, it's more like a taco at that point.
Yes, or you could take 2 pieces and flop them on top of each other, and now it almost becomes like Chicago pizza. Sicilian pizza is thick pizza. Now, if you want to talk about national brand pizza, Domino's has gotten a lot better over the years. Pizza Hut, okay, fine. Domino's, okay, fine. I really like Papa John's. I love the taste of a Papa John. No.
Give
not
me
Papa
Little
John's.
Caesars.
Little Caesars, yeah. I like Little Caesars. No, I like Little Caesars better than Domino's or Pizza Hut. But if you want to go, to me, the best of the national brands would be Marco's Pizza. Have you guys ever had Marco's Pizza?
I get sick after Marco's Pizza.
Oh, I love Marco's. And regionally,
have you had Moza?
And I don't know if it's regionally. I don't know if it's becoming more national or not. But regionally, Jets Pizza. Do they have Jets Pizza in Alabama? They do Jets Pizza in Tennessee. I thought it was just a Nashville thing. But apparently it's been spreading. John, do you know Jets Pizza?
I know Jets Pizza. They probably have it at a few gas stations, like half and half.
No, that's Hunt's Pizza.
I know, but I think I'm pretty sure I've seen some Jets Pizza at some gas stations as well.
Jets is pretty thick. So,
There's one in Madison.
Oh, there's a Jets Pizza now in Madison, Alabama? Jets Pizza's really good. Marco's is outstanding.
Have you had Moza locally in Huntsville?
What is it?
Moza
I
pizza?
heard about it. I have not had it. I've heard that it's really good. But that, again, generally it's those kind. Pizzeria pizza is the best. I'm talking these national places, as nice as they are, it's the Paisans or the Mozas or the people it's the people that have these small local pizzerias where they actually know how to make pizza in a pizza oven is the best. So what's the consensus in there? What's the best national brand pizza? What do you guys like the most?
I mean, I will always go Domino's.
I like Domino's a lot, but I like Little Caesars because of the cheesy bread too. So
I like the Little Caesars.
You can't have Little Caesars though, like the second day. It just doesn't work.
Domino's is a good leftover pizza.
I'm broke though, so I like Little Caesars.
This is true.
Well, Domino's is not exactly. I mean, although they get, you got to jump through. Remember, Domino's had the $5.99 pizza, and then you got you only get that if you order online. I'd call and say, hey, I want the $5.99 medium thick pizza, pan pizza, medium $5.99. They're like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? No, you got to order that online. Why? Just give me the damn pizza. I want the pizza for $5.99. And so then you'd have to order it online. Then it became $7.99. Now I think it's $9.99, and you have to jump through hoops to find it online. You got to do choose. I don't know. They made it very difficult. Now my wife likes Domino's, so I have to eat Domino's. I like Paisan's
All I know
best.
is that I forgot about all of those pizza places when I found Big Zone deals.
What pizza joint do we have on Big Zone deals?
Sometimes we have some. Donato's was on there a few weeks ago.
Oh,
Regardless,
Donato's.
I'm saving my money with
they're
some
coming
Big
back.
Zone deals.
Oh, Donato's is coming back, yeah. Well, we got some great Big Zone deals going on. I need to send you. Did you get the email, John?
What did you say?
We got some great. I didn't send you the email. We got some great deals on Big Zone deals.
You can actually wash down that milkshake with a milkshake from the Yard Milkshake Bar.
Yes. You can wash the milkshake down, and then you can go over to field day and do something physical to kind of get rid of some of that weight. And then at night, head on over to the furniture factory and watch the game while you have a great meal at either location of the furniture factory at Providence, Maine, or downtown, taking some live entertainment if you'd like. And then the next day, Saturday morning, you could get up and go to Bigfoot Little Donuts there and get some coffee and donuts for breakfast before you head out to the golf course to play at Cherokee Ridge. All right, we'll grab a break. We'll come back and set you up for hour number 2 next on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Bryce Elder, the man for the Atlanta Braves today. He's a $2.19 favorite at home with the Nationals, 9 over at Truist Park. Auburn Tigers, $1.20 favorite over Texas A&M, -110 in Hoover, the SEC tournament, where Florida eliminated Alabama yesterday 13-3. It is Troy, a $1.65 dog against Southern Miss, -215 of the Sun Belt Conference tournament. In Conference USA, Jacksonville State, a $2.50 favorite over Western Kentucky, +190. NASCAR mourns the loss of Kyle Busch, who died at the age of 41 yesterday after a severe illness. Denny Hamlin, the favorite to win Sunday's race at Charlotte. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area.
As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Hey golfers, Huntsville has a new place to play golf. The newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue in Huntsville is The Golfus. For a limited time, you can grab an unlimited membership for just $99 a month. That's right, play every day for just $99 a month. Check it out. All the details are on thegolfus.com. That's The Golfus. 2 locations in Huntsville and coming soon to Madison.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231. Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Pizza conversation got everybody blown up on the text window. Text window, Marco's Italian sausage is top notch. Yeah, I like it. They do the ground up sausage. That's really good. They do good. Although I'm not a huge fan of sausage on my pizza. Mazza in Huntsville. John? I'm just going to say John. Mazza in Huntsville. Getting some love. John?
Roger.
Trevor Bain. Yes, somebody responded. Trevor Bain. Don't you guys remember Trevor Bain?
Yes.
2011.
We remember Trevor Bain. You said like a few years ago. I was like, oh,
it was just a few years ago.
He won it a few years ago. But even that was a long time ago.
It was a few years ago. Bama Brad says, iconic car, 28. Yeah. Not in the class of the other. And 43 and 3, I think, are in a different category. I think 43 and 3 are one thing, and then there's another level. The Mount Rushmore of NASCAR numbers. Remember, Mount Rushmore only has 3 things, or 4 things. So the 43 and the 3, I say the 24 and the 48. I don't know. Mount Rushmore of NASCAR numbers. All right, well, Tim Packman's coming up next. He worked for RCR. He worked for DEI. He worked NASCAR.com. Worked with me. He's up next. Tom Abraham Show, hour number 2. Coming up right after this.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and our employee pricing for everyone is in high gear right now at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. That's right, everyone in the Tennessee Valley can get our special Ford employee pricing on over 280 available new Fords. Save up to $15,000 off MSRP on remaining new 25 F-150s and up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos. With your good credit, you can save thousands with financing as low as 0% on select new models. And always remember, Lynn Layton Ford will never charge you any mysterious dock fee or some hidden markup. It's simple. You pay what we pay on 280 new Fords. That's right, $15,000 off MSRP on new 25 F-150s, $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos, or lock in 0% financing on select new models. Come see us at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline in Decatur, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. Monday, June 22nd, 97.7 The Zone will return to the Mars Music Hall for our Huntsville Sports Commission Rocket City Awards to crown the achievements of the top athletes, coaches, and gamers from North Alabama. Reserve your spot now for just $50. Or better yet, become a table sponsor. Email us today at 977WZZNEvents@gmail.com. That's 977WZZNEvents@gmail.com. And be a part of one of the Rocket City's most memorable nights.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It is Friday, May the 22nd, 2026. Steve Moulton here with your update. Your winners in SEC baseball include Georgia and Florida. Coming up today, you'll be able to hear number 2 seed Texas against 7 seed Arkansas, and 6 seed Auburn takes on 3 seed Texas A&M. In Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves took 3 out of 4 in Miami. Braves lead in the NL East is now 9.5 games as they welcome in the Nationals this weekend. The Trash Pandas were rained out last night. They'll take on Chattanooga today in a doubleheader beginning at 4:20. And softball super regionals begin today in Tuscaloosa. Alabama LSU slated for a 6 o'clock first pitch. And finally, in the world of NASCAR, 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch passes away at the age of 41. Busch just won a truck race event last Friday in Dover.
You need to move more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome in on a Football Friday in the Doghouse. It is Football Friday. It's always Football Friday. We do have football music for you throughout the show, but of course we are dealing with the stunning news of Kyle Busch's passing yesterday. It rocked the sports world. It rocked race fans as well. So we are dealing with that as best we possibly can. And I have always been a NASCAR fan going all the way back to the early 70s when my grandfather introduced me to it in Orlando, Florida. So I feel like I can speak on some level of competence on this. And but I'll say this, I have no way to explain what happened and how he died because it's a mystery right now. I mean, we know that he passed out. while working in the simulator at the Chevrolet place in North Carolina, and it was unresponsive, and that's all we really know. We really can't tie anything back to the Watkins Glen conversation of him wanting to see the doctor from Hendrick when he got in to get a quote-unquote shot. Supposedly he was dealing with a cough last weekend, but he passed out, and we saw that he was, had a serious illness yesterday. We had that story during the show, and then he was dead. I mean, it's just it's crazy. So as we welcome in a new audience listening on Nashville Sports Radio in Nashville and Murfreesboro, we'll go along with our friends at 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville and ESPN Winchester and Winchester as well. We'll try and get the phone lines open up a little bit later on in the show. But right now, an opportunity to talk to my good friend Tim Packman. Pack and I go back a long time. 25 years. And we used to host a show called Race Night. He then went on. He worked for Richard Childress Racing. He worked for Dale Earnhardt Inc. He worked at NASCAR.com. He co-wrote Bobby Ellison's memoir. He's written a couple of children's books, Funny Dan the Race Car Man and PD the Pace Car. I mean, this guy's done it all. He's been a track announcer. I mean, he's done all of the things that you could possibly do in this business, and I felt like I needed to reach out to him, and that's what we do now. And he joins us not only on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, but joins us as well on WZZN TV. Pack, welcome back, man. How are you? A long time no talk to.
Hey, Tom, good talking to you. You look sexy as ever, my friend.
Yes, well, I'm trying to keep up appearances as best as possible, but
it's important for radio.
It is. Well, especially since they put this radio stuff on TV now, on the YouTube and everything else. I mean, they're killing us doing that, but they are doing it at least. So, this was stunning. I told the listeners right off the top, they know I'm not a Kyle Busch guy. You either love him or hate him. I was in the hate him category. I busted Hollywood Hogan, Stones, almost threw him out of the studio for wearing a number 8 Kyle Busch t-shirt about a month ago in studio. We had a lot of fun with that. But that's what NASCAR always needed. You needed villains and you needed heroes, and you cannot in any way, shape, or form deny the incredible talent that this young man had. What were your thoughts?
So let's back it up. People didn't like Dale Earnhardt because he won. They didn't like Jeff Gordon because, he won. They didn't like Jimmy Johnson because, he won. They didn't like Kyle Busch. Not only did he win, he dominated. They have their championships and everything, but, Kyle is like the, winningest overall driver with the accomplishments he did in all 3 series that he raced in. 2-time champion in Cup, 1-time champion, and now the O'Reilly Series. And, he fueled it along, doing stuff like this, a couple other things he did. But people loved him and they didn't like him. But there's one thing, like the other 3 drivers I just mentioned, they always knew where he was on the track and they paid attention to what he did. Now, Denny Hamlin kind of has that a little bit for him as well. But as you see as time goes on, your drivers kind of start to mellow. And, Kyle now became a family man. He had a son he has a son, Brexton Racing. I think Samantha, his wife, had a lot to do with him kind of changing his way. And like, what was it, Carl Edwards said at Darlington a few years ago, he's like, they're cheering Kyle. And someone says, yeah, he's driving a Chevrolet now for Childress. He goes, that's all it took. But, he was someone that you paid attention to on the track, no matter what series he was in.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And it's interesting, those names that you ran down, the guys that won, Jimmy Johnson won too, but nobody really knew it. He didn't have personality that those other names that you threw out there. A lot of people are trying to make a comparison to Dale Earnhardt. We'll get to the part of Dale Earnhardt's passing. And I mentioned that the same thing, in the 80s, Earnhardt, he was Ironhead. He wasn't the intimidator. He was Ironhead. And the drivers hated him. They were, there was all kinds of, but he had that Southern, oh shucks kind of thing where he'd wreck you and then he would smile and he'd say, well, I didn't mean to wreck him there, and he had, there was something different about him. Whereas Kyle, I don't think people, loved him as he's a kid from Vegas. He seemed mean-spirited at times and things like that, which was a little bit different than Earnhardt. But you're right. He was definitely mellowing, and you wonder, the other tie was him and Earnhardt took forever, for Earnhardt to win a Daytona 500, I think it was 19 times before he won. Kyle hadn't won one yet. What I'm wondering is if 43 or 44-year-old Kyle Busch wins the Daytona 500, are they all lined up on pit road to shake his hand as he comes by? You know what I mean? I wonder if he would have had that moment where he would have become beloved at the end of his career.
I think it would have been done for Tony Stewart. It would have been done for probably Kyle. The effort.
All right, we'll reconnect with him, because I think that's a that's a question that has to be answered. And
okay, we're still there. We're still good.
There we go. We got you back now. Now we got you back. So yeah, go ahead. You would have been done for Stewart. Would have been done for some of these other guys, not necessarily for Kyle. Is that what you're thinking?
I can't hear. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I apologize.
All right.
I don't know what happened. Sorry.
All right, guys, why don't you just cut that and reconnect with him? Yeah, just reconnect with him, and we'll get it. And then we also need to talk about, his legacy in terms of a cup racer. If we say that the Mount Rushmore of NASCAR drivers is exclusive to Cup, does he break through that? A two-time champion, you got to have obviously Earnhardt and Petty. I think you got to have Gordon and Johnson. I think that's now the overall is a whole different thing. But again, is it fair to compare a guy? They didn't have truck races for Earnhardt. I don't know if he would have run truck races. So, I don't know if it would have gone that way or not, if he would have had that opportunity or not to, and he didn't run nearly as many of the JV races or anything like that. So he didn't do those things. So, it's hard to, as I'm vamping right now because I'm getting these guys Tim's number so we can get him back on the line here. And all right, John, I'll have that to you here in just 1 second. And there we go. So, you have to wonder how we would have, reacted to Kyle Busch as time went on. He wasn't a good old boy. I guess that's what I was trying to say about Earnhardt. Earnhardt was a good old boy. So it's hard to, include him into that, thought process. Wasn't a good old boy. And I don't know if he was ever going to. And I also do think he was playing that role. I think he relished that role that he was in. I think he relished the victim role. All right, Tim Packman is back. All right, Pack, last we heard, we were talking about whether or not, how Kyle Busch would have been received had he won, finally got his Daytona 500 win.
I think the effort would have been recognized like it was for Dale. I'm not sure about that, but I know that they would have recognized the effort that was put forth by him to get to that point. Dale was 49 when he won. Bobby Ellison was 50, but that was his third one. But I think Kyle would have been, it would have been recognized and accepted.
Yeah. What do we do with him as far as the Mount Rushmore of drivers? So you mentioned about him being the all-time winner and everything. It's a little bit unfair. Earnhardt and Petty and them guys didn't have trucks to race and things like that. So if we're just going cup-wise, Mount Rushmore is 4. Where would he stand in that if you're looking at just 4? We got to have Petty and Earnhardt, obviously. And then where do we go from there?
I heard you talk before you came on. You said numbers. I'm going to go by that. I would go number 3, the number 43, the number 48, only because he accomplished more than 24. And you can't forget the number 21 for the Wood brothers. Think of the history and all the guys that drove that. Pearson, the history of them being the longest tenured owners in the sport. That would go more Rushmore for numbers. But as far as drivers, you've got Petty, Earnhardt. Do you put Gordon in there? Do you put Johnson? But I think Kyle would have been a close 5th or 6th. I don't mean that in a bad way. And, you know, to compare the Earnhardt thing, and someone said this earlier, and I kind of thought about it. Dale Earnhardt hasn't been around for 25 years. There's a whole generation of NASCAR fans that only heard about Dale, they didn't get to experience him. They've got, like your guy Hollywood there. He got to experience Kyle Busch. So I would say, if an analogy, not a comparison, Kyle Busch being the Dale Earnhardt of this generation, I think that would be an acceptable acceptable analogy.
In terms of the reaction of passing, or in terms of the reaction of how he was? Because I just don't think he exuded that good old boy.
No, he couldn't. He was from Vegas. No
personality.
Look at his brother. Neither of them they weren't that way. They
Oh.
you know, they came from the same cloth. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think just because of his on track performance and how he was a little bit of an agitator, and he didn't really apologize much for things he did on purpose or not on purpose.
So if he's not on Mount Rushmore, then we'll put him in the foothills. Then that's where you got to go. I think you go Pearson, Kyle Busch. I think is in that category, right? Yep. And you got you got to look at those guys, that were in that realm. I even want to say Bobby Ellison, possibly. Darrell Waltrip. I mean, Darrell Waltrip, 3-time champion. Maybe you go down that path with him. They just put two guys in the Hall of Fame. He was a certain Hall of Famer. It was obvious that he would be a Hall of Famer, as soon as he was eligible. Mm-hmm. Would it be out of line to go ahead and add? I mean, this class doesn't get honored until next year. Would it be out of line to include him with Harvick and Jeff Burton?
Absolutely.
In the Hall of Fame with this
Absolutely.
group?
It would bastardize the entire process, the entire nomination, and the entire voting process. Because if you're going to do that, then why don't you put Greg Biffle in as well?
Yeah, but Biffle didn't win 63 races. And
I understand. I get that, but I'm saying he was in the Hall. He's worthy of the championships and stuff he's done. But I don't think you just can't say, because he passed, let's put Kyle Busch in. Now he'll be eligible when he's eligible. Put him on the ballot, and just adding him would be. No, you can't do that one. I mean, it's a thought. I get that, but like I said, it would take away from everything that was done to get the voting process.
Tim Packman with us here. Got a great racing pedigree. Many of the great organizations that he's worked for back in the day. Had an office that was right down the hall from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s office. He had his brush with fame. I always loved the story that you tell about you and Dale Earnhardt in terms of how you helped Dale win a race, I guess it was. I think it was. I can't remember it exactly, but it was always a great story where somehow, some way, you did something to help Dale Earnhardt out, and it was like a seminal moment in your career.
I don't recall which one you're talking about. I wasn't around him too much because I got into it full time when my second. It was the beginning of my first full time year at NASCAR.com. We lost him on the beginning. Now the 4 years I was with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, with Dale Jr., there was a lot of good trips to Victory Lane there. The most notable, of course, was 2004, the Daytona 500. And just being on the front stretch and looking up in those stands, and it's like a snapshot in my mind forever that, because these fans were just going crazy. And to be 3 years earlier, I was sitting in those stands and looking up into them was like, holy crow, this is amazing. But yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of iconic numbers, that 8, that Richard Childress acquired, it's weird. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the trademark for it now with the font and everything else. He had finally gotten it away from Teresa, but Richard Childress Racing has the 8 and of course the 3, and he originally acquired it for Ty Dillon. He wanted to run one grandson in the 3 and one grandson in the 8 to honor the Earnhardt family and legacy. And then Ty Dillon ended up running someplace else. And, it's there've been a couple of different guys, including Tyler Reddick, who now is like, the stud out there that ran in that 8, for a period of time. It'll be interesting to see going forward what they do with it, whether he parks it again or whether or not. I know this weekend Austin Hill is going to run it. Jesse Love is an up-and-comer from Childress. You worked at Childress. It's really, I thought they would always be a contender, and now it's been, 20 years or whatever since they contended for any kind of anything. And you wonder what the future is. Richard's not a young guy either,
Well, I think, they, just won the O'Reilly Championship. So they're still winning races on one level, but if you go on Facebook And I read it this morning. Austin Dillon did an amazing tribute to Kyle, how he blatantly talked about how their family was anti him because he was winning and they weren't. And then working with him in the intensity and the intelligence and the memory he had that Kyle had, and how he held the people at RCR like, hey, here's what we need to do. And he stood his ground like, look, this isn't all me. I mean, it's all of us here. And Austin said he grew to appreciate how he was as a driver and a person and as a teammate. And I think it speaks volumes that, Richard, he's old school. He knows his ways, but Richard's also, I've been around him enough to smart enough to know he needs to listen and he needs to get better. And, they were showing some improvements here and there. And a lot of it was Kyle saying, look, I'm the one in the car. Here's what I'm sensing and feeling, because he brought that pedigree of winning so many races and championships.
I wonder how much longer he would have been there.
I'd say a couple years, maybe.
Yeah. And then retirement or
Yep. Then he was talking about what him and Brexton were going to do as far as racing together and maybe just on the truck series level. So he had a plan there, but it's just a shame. Like you, I was like, I heard he was sick, and then you heard what happened yesterday. The NASCAR announced it, and then the people that are speculating, stop. Let the family tell us what it was. We do know that something happened when he was at the Chevrolet R&D center in the simulator, and they went from there, and he was taken to the hospital, and then he passed after that. But it's at 41 years old. It's just a damn shame.
It is a rotten shame. I got two kids older than that, and I can't wrap my head around it. Did you see the video that was posted on X of him and Brexton and him kind of talking to him and the music that was playing and just the way? I mean, that's a different cowboy. I think he was playing up this villain role. You know what I mean? I'm not, look, I'm not going to revisit his history. It is what it is. But I think that he really relished that role. He relished the bow and being that guy. He relished the booze. Yes. And I think that some of that wasn't really maybe the real full Kyle Busch.
No, he knew what he was doing on the track. And when he was in that M&M's car, you couldn't turn 360 without seeing at least 4 or 5 M&M's parallel to track. He became synonymous with that, and the end of that partnership at Gibbs led to his leaving there, and of all places, after he tried to punch him years ago, was Richard Childress hiring him and presenting him with a Rolex watch. When they announced him as the new driver, but I think he knew that. But I think as he realized he had another set of eyes, younger eyes in Brexton, all his racing buddies looking up to him. But he went to Millbridge here in the area, a little short dirt track that a lot of the kids race at. And he raced with him there, and he did other things with him, and he helped other kids. And you see him with fans and everything. He had his great moments with them, but I guess it's just there was 2 sides to him. And lately, a lot of his social media was him doing silly things with his wife, with his kids. He was showing a human side to the Kyle Busch, the prankster and the fun-loving guy that we knew away from the track.
It's been interesting reading the comments from the drivers of his contemporaries and so on. And it always seems to start out with even Junior said, I had a complicated relationship.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, but they all did. You know what I mean? It was like, I had Brad Keselowski. I had a complicated relationship, but I came to respect him,
Yep. What was it? Brad walked out at Bristol for introduction and said, Kyle Busch is an ass. That was his introduction. That was his quote,
That was his quote.
But they knew, though. They knew in time, like anyone, you start to go, okay, let's talk about this. And Junior and Kyle worked it out. They admitted flat, I totally dumped you. Yeah, I totally dumped you back. And at Richmond that time, and he took the win away from him. And he knew what he was doing. And, he became villainized for it. But you know what? You started paying attention to what he was doing.
All right, before I let you go, as a historian, I want to throw this out there. Jeff Burton, Hall of Famer? I mean, I turned my head sideways. I mean, 21 races and no 100? I mean, is Jeff Burton?
Okay. I will say, I was fortunate enough to work with both of them, doing PR for them. Harvick, 100%.
No doubt.
The other one, Burton, maybe second or third year.
Yeah.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying not like whatever. Just there's others that could have gone in before him. I'll say that. I don't mean that bad way. I'm just saying, statistically and historically speaking.
I think that we don't have you on a video anymore, but I think that's the Bobby Ellison #1 car behind me.
Was the camera not working? Oh, all right.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know if you can't on camera or not. I try not to watch it. I mean, I hate to listen to me. I really don't so much. So. Good to catch up with you as always, though, man. Great stuff and great perspective. And I appreciate you taking the time.
All right. What is behind me? That's Jeff Bodine's 1982 Firecracker 400 pole trophy. That's the one thing.
Yeah. Behind you. Yeah.
Behind me, yeah. And then the other is the Wally I won with Rick Ray Racing with Clay Milligan. So, yeah.
So I've got the 79 Daytona 500 behind me and that red #1 car, which I think was Bobby Ellison back then.
No, that's Donnie's in the one, the Tropicana.
Oh, Donnie was in the one. Okay.
Right. Bobby was in the 15.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, man. I appreciate you as always. Great stuff.
Thank you.
And we'll chat again.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks. Bye. Tim Packman. Did he ever come back on video, boys? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we had him on vid or
we had him on video at the beginning, but then after he went out that first time, it was just kind of on and off, and so we left him off.
Okay. Good stuff. Let's get a break. When we come back, Beau Estes will join us. The NBA Final Four, the Knicks with another blowout of Cleveland last night. They're squared away in the series in the Western Conference Finals between the Spurs and OKC. We'll get his take on that going into the weekend. Beau also worked in NASCAR for a number of years as well, and we'll get his thought on the Kyle Busch passing as well. We'll do that next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Bryce Elder on the mound for the Atlanta Braves today. He's a $2.19 favorite at home with the Nationals, 9 over at Truist Park. Auburn Tigers, $1.20 favorite over Texas A&M, -110 in Hoover, the SEC tournament, where Florida eliminated Alabama yesterday 13-3. It is Troy, a $1.65 dog against Southern Miss, -215 of the Sun Belt Conference tournament. In Conference USA, Jacksonville State, a $2.50 favorite over Western Kentucky, +190. NASCAR mourns the loss of Kyle Busch, who died at the age of 41 yesterday after severe illness. Eddie Hamlin, the favorite to win Sunday's race at Charlotte. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When you're craving a juicy, made-to-order burger with all your favorite toppings, it's time to head to Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Fresh, never-frozen, hand-formed patties, crispy, fresh-cut fries, savory hot dogs, and topped off with an ice-cold real milkshake. Five Guys knows what you like. Come and get it in Huntsville on North Parkway and on Enterprise, and in Madison on Moonshot Drive and Highway 72. Order online at fiveguys.com or just walk in. Five Guys. Perfection every time. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Introducing the Golfus, Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Play over 2,000 courses with state-of-the-art simulator technology, perfect for golfers of all skill levels. For a limited time, grab an unlimited membership for just $99 a month, or book with our grand opening pricing. It's the best value in Huntsville. Check us out at thegolfus.com.
Cummins has kept the world running for more than 100 years. Since their founding in 1919, Cummins has been dedicated to leading the charge towards a future with smarter, cleaner power. Cummins sales and service locations are right where you need them when you need your engine or generator set service. And now, Cummins has a new Huntsville branch opening June 10th. They're located on Highway 31 in Tanner, just north of Calhoun College. Cummins expert technicians will keep you up and running. Call them at 205-808-2210.
365 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit DriveSafeAlabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
My caretaker was very rough with me. I thought they did it because I wasn't moving fast enough.
Elder abuse is a crime, and together we can stop it. If you or someone you know has been abused, neglected, or exploited, call the Adult Abuse Hotline at 1-800-458-7214. That's 1-800-458-7214. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Department of Justice, ADECA Grant Number 18 VA VS 050, the ABA, and this station.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We hold on to the opportunity for rain as we head into the overnight early Saturday morning. Temperatures dropping into the mid and upper 60s. A rinse and repeat process as we head into your Saturday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. The day is not going to be a complete and total wash. We'll do it again on Sunday.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Lynn Layton Ford. That's right. My good friend Bobby White is now at Lynn Layton, and I'm right there with him. And you know what you'll never find at Lynn Layton Ford? Some mysterious dock fee that can be like $600, $700, or $800. The price you saw advertised is the price you'll pay. That's the Lynn Layton way. You see, transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. I made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Layton Ford.
Beau, what were you doing is a great way to come into the show. Yeah, Thom, what were you doing, buddy? I was a studio host for several NASCAR shows, and then they would take me on the road, and they had this semi-trailer that they would jack way up on hydraulics, and I would be 50 feet above the crowd for the post-race show at race after race after race with my co-host, Nikki Brunel, and it was my gosh, what an experience. You're just dumped right into NASCAR culture. And I had a wonderful ride for 5 or 6 years doing it, man. It was great. Mm-hmm. I thought about it for a second. I really, really did. The thing that really was challenging is obviously the NBA left Turner Sports, and then we were supposed to keep the digital package. Turner was supposed to keep doing NBA TV and NBA.com. When that went away, the NBA got in touch with me and made me their guy for that, and that sort of eliminated any Turner Sports NASCAR stuff. What's interesting is that they have their old crew. I mean, NASCAR this year is going to be produced by the guy who produces Inside the NBA. So they're going first rate with everything on NASCAR over at Turner Sports. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's a great, I worked with him towards the end of my tenure. He and I would do shows together, and I really enjoyed both his knowledge and the way he presented everything. They knew he was going to be a star back then. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I saw what Brad Keselowski had to say, and those two, butted heads quite a bit. But you know what? I think that's the way it should be. I don't think you want them to be buddy buddy. There's a lot of the buddy buddy in the NBA with guys that are, supposed to be rivals, and I don't know that that's as great for the sport. NASCAR does it. It's a tough relationship. You're driving around at hundreds of miles an hour with your hair on fire. It shouldn't be best friends. But I do think that my memory of that time and Kyle Busch coming up is I was getting into the sport, and I remember everybody always talked about driver talent with Kyle Busch. Driver talent. He's got more talent. And so I spent a year or two just trying to figure out exactly what does that mean, and how can you see that he has more of it than somebody else, even his brother Kurt or any of the other drivers. He has more talent than them, and that always fascinated me. And I always attached that word or that description, driver talent, with Kyle Busch. And it wasn't just that he was talented. He pushed the envelope. He really did. And if you'd have told me that he died at 41, I would have thought it would have been in a wreck. It would have been something tragic on the track. And it's just shocking. I feel sick for his wife and his daughters and his children and his brother. It's just way too young, man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just rough, and it's rough. I know, even if you're his toughest rival, it's rough because at some point, you think of the Magic Johnson Larry Bird relationship. It was tough at first, but then it became a mutual respect thing after years of competing excellence. And I think that's where he was with a lot of folks out there. So it's going to be painful. I texted my guys at NASCAR. Usually they text back in 5 seconds. I haven't heard from them in a day, so I don't know what the situation is, but I just hope that somehow something good comes out of this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's apparently wasn't done growing coming into last year, which is incredible to think of that he's getting taller and taller and taller still. I think he's going to sort of top out at about 7'5", but he's 7'5" and smooth and coordinated, and able to do everything that a guard can do out there. I hope that casual basketball fans who, I understand you pick up around the playoffs and you start watching. I hope they're seeing this guy because I have that same feeling that I had when Michael Jordan started getting it rolling. I mean, this is an unstoppable force. You mentioned win your championships now. Do it, do it, do it now. I think Oklahoma State is an unbelievable team. They've got depth like I've never seen in my life, perhaps, but I don't think that there's any answer for Wembanyama. Once he really wins that first title and gets this thing on lock, I honestly think he's got the talent there now. I think Dylan Harper is an incredible point guard. His numbers in game one were the best that I've seen from a young point guard or rookie point guard since Magic Johnson in 1980 game 6 against Philly. So I think that there are pieces there. Now, the injuries are really a tough situation right now for San Antonio. Where's De'Aaron Fox? How's Dylan Harper going to be? Do they have the right guys? If San Antonio's injured now, and look, Oklahoma City is injured too, it opens up things, and it opens up a possibility even for an Eastern Conference team to come in. Everybody assumed it would be a Western Conference team, but maybe not now if there's enough injuries. No. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I love about Victor Wembanyama is that he has that old school competitive mentality. When he was sitting there on the sideline watching Shea Gilgeous-Alexander win that MVP, you could tell he wasn't pleased. You could tell it was motivating him, and I like that. I like seeing somebody who gets fired up. I like a guy who goes up there and says, "I think I'm the MVP." He's saying, "Put it all on my back. Make me the guy. Make me the one that's going to lead this team." That's an old school mentality that you just don't see as much anymore, and I love it. This guy is willing to put it all out there, and he's gonna if he stays healthy, he's gonna win multiple championships. Does the train start this year? I don't know, but if all the pieces are right, it really could get going right here, right now. I've heard of this. Yeah, I've heard of this. What? Oh, dude. You're close, and I'm telling you right now, the Knicks are on a roll that that franchise has never seen. You understand that this is a franchise playoff record for a win streak for the New York Knicks. They're also the highest scoring ever 9-game playoff win streak in the history of the NBA. They've broken all of the recent Golden State Warriors records for those win streaks. They're putting the ball in the basket at a rate that you just don't see that often. I'm sort of confused by all this. You saw their comeback in game one, coming back from down 22 points. Can they win in Cleveland? Cleveland just doesn't seem to care about any of this stuff. In the Detroit, they didn't win a road playoff game until game 5 of the conference semifinals, and yet here they are. So Cleveland does hold, they hold serve at home court. They really do. They really are tough there. I heard you mention earlier the Knicks need to get it done right away. I agree with that. And then see those two teams out west just beat the life out of each other. Just absolutely beat. And that's the Knicks recipe. And then your prediction, your little funny money on the side starts to look really good. He's a monster, man. Yeah. Well, what was interesting about Josh Hart is last night for him was a playoff career high in terms of points. But you mentioned Jalen Brunson wasn't playing as well as he had been. But what Jalen Brunson does go out and do is has a playoff career high in assists with 14 assists in that game. That's the most assists recorded in a Knicks playoff game since their old Heisman Trophy winning point guard Charlie Ward back in the 90s had more than that. So I think that the Knicks are able to adjust their style to whatever's working that night. They didn't have a great rebounding game last night, and yet they still won. They just have different ways to beat you, and I think that's always good in the playoffs. I still, like if one of those teams out west is perfectly healthy, sure, the Knicks are underdogs in that series. There's no doubt about it. But there's no guarantee that they will be healthy. And the one thing that you have with the Knicks is this is a mature team, a physical team. They know their time is now. They've got to get it done now. There's no let's wait 2 or 3 years and see what we can put together. No, they got to win now. This is going to be their best shot. And if they win one title, legends forever in that city. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hugely. Yes, hugely. Oh. You know what? I've got two things to say on that. One, you and I both know why they do that. Obviously, it's a money thing. But two, I saw the Lakers ending their playoff run and what was potentially LeBron's last game in a Laker uniform, and they were in the black Laker uniforms. And I just thought, this looks terrible. It looks nothing like what a Lakers uniform should look like. Again, I know why they do it. I understand the money behind it. But man, oh man, it's just a tough watch. And the other thing I would say with that, Tom, is if let's say that the Knicks win the championship, let's say that they do, and the film you're watching years from now is them in a black jersey winning a championship, that doesn't look right. That just won't look right. Yes. Well, they are famous for their color names. You'd say, who's the purple and gold? Everybody knows who that is. That's the Lakers. So if you are so sort of classified with that color brand, I don't understand. Well, again, I do understand the money of it, but I hate it. I just don't like the look of it. I guess if you've already sold a Jalen Brunson home and away jersey, here's another one you can buy. I guess that's the way it's thought of. I'm starting to realize as an old man, I can't change the world, Tom. It just can't happen. Take care, buddy.
They have done some. Well, check this out. Did you know that between 1962 and 1968, okay, the Alabama running backs, wide receiver, and tight end wore a white helmet for night games and games against other teams with dark helmets, while the rest of the team was wearing a crimson helmet?
That's weird. I've never heard of that.
How cool is that? Yeah. They wore white helmets. The eligible receivers and the running backs wore white helmets so that they could distinguish them, and then the NCAA made that illegal in 69. Couldn't do that anymore. How about that? How innovative would that be? How cool would that be?
Pretty
they wore
cool
different
minutia.
color helmets. Yeah, there you go. Little minutia from the big dog. All right, be careful out there with the weather. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I'm Thom Abraham. Talk on Tuesday.